All right, today we're jumping into the theological blueprint for marriage, specifically as it's laid out in one interpretation of the book of Genesis. We're going to break down what it says about its core purpose, its structure, and what it really asks of the people in it.
It's a huge question, right? One of life's biggest. And there are countless answers, depending on who you ask and where you look. For this explainer, though, we're zeroing in on the answer found inside one specific theological text.
And according to this text, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. It argues that marriage wasn't just some random human idea, but was divinely designed from the get-go, with two main interconnected purposes in mind.
Okay, so this is really the key idea to grasp. This framework sees marriage not as something that just evolved over time, but as a divine blueprint, something with a very specific design and a clear purpose.
So, what are those purposes? Well, this framework says marriage was designed for two big reasons. First, to satisfy some really fundamental human needs, and second, to create this incredible kind of oneness between two people. Okay, let's dig into that first one, satisfying needs. The source argues that the whole design of marriage is a direct answer to man's built-in need for both a companion and what it calls a completer.
Now, to really get this, we've got to look at a key phrase from the original text, help meet. This can sound a little old-fashioned, right? So this framework is careful to define what it means. Help is about aiding or assisting, and meet means suitable for or corresponding to. So we're not talking about a subordinate, but a perfectly matched complementary partner.
So that begs the question, right? What does that completion actually look like in day-to-day life, according to this framework? Well, the text gets very specific, and it lays out 8 distinct qualities.
Drawing from other texts like Proverbs and Ephesians, the source points to these 8 qualities. And you can see it's a whole spectrum of support, from the spiritual side of things and being emotionally open, to being a dependable part of the team and showing confidence and gratitude. All right, now for the second big idea, and this is where it gets really interesting, the whole concept of oneness. This is about way more than just, getting along. It's a much deeper idea of unity that the text presents as a central goal of marriage.
And the text doesn't just throw this idea out there and expect you to take it at face value. It actually builds a case for it, using 3 key pieces of evidence pulled right from the story in Genesis.
So these are the 3 pillars, if you will, that hold up this argument for oneness. You've got the woman's origin story, Adam's own reaction when he first sees her, and then what the text describes as God's specific plan for marriage.
So let's unpack that first one. The source is saying that the way creation is described, the woman being formed from the man's side, that's not just a detail. It's a powerful visual. It's meant to show their deep, built-in oneness from the very start.
And there's this really beautiful interpretation, often credited to Augustine, that just captures this perfectly. The idea is that the woman wasn't taken from the head to rule over him, or from his foot to be walked on, but from his side, to be an equal partner, right there beside him, and close to his heart.
Okay, so you have this grand design for satisfying needs and creating oneness. But how do you actually do it? How does it work in the real world? Well, the text gives a super simple 2-part instruction: leave and cleave.
So let's break that down, because those words are packed with meaning. To leave your parents, in this view, means making your marriage the #1 priority. It comes first. And to cleave, that means sticking together, creating a permanent, unbreakable bond that's meant to last. So you've got 2 key ideas here: priority and permanence.
So, if we pull it all together, what have we got? This framework presents marriage as a divine institution. Its purpose is twofold: to meet that deep need for a perfectly suited partner and completer, and to forge this incredible unity, this oneness, that's lived out by making the relationship a permanent priority.
And that kind of leaves us with a big question to think about, doesn't it? In a world where ideas about relationships are always changing, how do ancient frameworks for partnership like this one still speak to us? Do they challenge us? Do they offer something new? Definitely some food for thought.